You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started. This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. The Biden administration is announcing plans to invest almost $93 million to create jobs and reduce energy costs in rural Wisconsin. The USDA's Julie Lassa says the money will go directly to farmers, business owners, and power cooperatives. Biden was in Wisconsin last month to talk up his administration's rural energy initiatives. The Wisconsin Supreme Court is considering the governor's expansive partial veto power. The High Court heard oral arguments yesterday over Governor Evers' veto last year that increased public school spending for 400 years. Justice Jill Karofsky.
This does concern me where we have a legal scholar and he's looking at all 50 states and he's saying, Wisconsin, we don't think you're doing this right. There ought to be some limitations.
The court will hand down a written ruling in a few months. A new Quinnipiac poll finds Donald Trump with a slight lead in Wisconsin. 48% of likely voters support the Republican and 46% back Democrat Kamala Harris. With a margin of error of plus or minus 3 percentage points, the race is pretty much still a tie. The same poll gives Tammy Baldwin a 4-point lead over Eric Hovde. A record high number of adults with disabilities have jobs in Wisconsin, more than 178,000 as of last year. Melinda Craig is a disability employment specialist. She says workers with disabilities seem to have better luck finding jobs with small businesses.
We do find that it's a little more difficult to connect with those bigger companies to encourage them to hire individuals with disabilities.
October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. The mice are so bad right now on Rock Island State Park off the tip of Door County that the remote spot is now closed to camping for the rest of the season. A massive infestation is reportedly chewing through tents, shoes, and even plastic storage bins. DNR wardens suspect mild weather last winter helped the mouse population on the island explode. Wisconsin's newest license plates are raising money for the International Crane Foundation. The plates were designed by Wisconsin artist Jay Jokum. They feature a sandhill crane and a whooping crane. The Crane Foundation gets a tax-deductible $25 gift with each new plate and annual sticker renewal. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. A home in Duluth's Chester Park neighborhood was nearly destroyed in a Wednesday afternoon fire. According to the Duluth Fire Department, crews responded to the blaze at the two-story home near 23rd Avenue East and East 5th Street at around 4 p.m. on Wednesday. When they arrived on the scene, firefighters managed to quickly extinguish the fire, but the damage had already been done. Officials estimate the home suffered over $100,000 of damage. The Duluth Fire Marshal is investigating the cause of the fire. The Duluth Police Department recovered nearly 2,000 pills after executing a search warrant on Wednesday. According to law enforcement officials, the drug bust took place on Wednesday afternoon near North 1st Avenue East and East 3rd Street. During the bust, law enforcement authorities recovered over 17,000 M30 pills, which contain oxycodone but have an increasingly common counterfeit which contains fentanyl instead. The suspect was taken to the St. Louis County Jail and charged with first-degree sale of fentanyl. A commercial flight that took off from Chicago was forced to make an emergency landing at the Duluth International Airport on Wednesday. According to the Duluth Airport Authority, the United Airlines flight left Chicago just before noon on Wednesday, then about 15 minutes into the flight requested an emergency landing due to mechanical issues. The plane safely completed the emergency landing at the Duluth Airport with 50 passengers, and nobody was reported injured. The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating. The city of Duluth is borrowing a popular statewide contest for their own purposes. City officials are asking residents to participate in the first snowplow naming contest for Duluth's plows. Any resident of the city can make a submission to the contest, and entries are due by October 21st. The winning name will be added to a snowplow and debut during the Christmas City of the North Parade in November. Each year, the Minnesota Department of Transportation also holds their own statewide snowplow naming contest. The School District of Superior is again reminding voters about their proposed operational referendum for the November ballot. The referendum is asking for a 5-year property tax increase to fund the schools. In the first 2 years, the increase would be about $7 per $100,000 worth of property value. In the final year, it would be about $79 extra for the same home value. School officials say the district is facing a $2 million deficit for next school year and has already needed to make cuts. Charges have been filed against a Superior man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend's boyfriend. According to the Superior Police Department, officers responded to a call about 30-year-old Aaron Johnson allegedly attempting to enter the garage of the Ogden Avenue home. When officers arrived at the scene, they heard multiple gunshots and found the victim who had been shot. He was pronounced deceased at the scene. Johnson was charged with first-degree intentional homicide, armed burglary, and recklessly endangering safety. A Superior woman was arrested following a rush-hour crash on I-35 in Duluth on Tuesday. According to law enforcement officials, the crash occurred near Garfield Avenue just before 5 p.m. on Tuesday. The crash caused traffic on the major highway to back up for about an hour as commuters were on their way home. Law enforcement authorities say a 21-year-old woman who was involved in the three-car crash was arrested on suspicion of driving while intoxicated. Nobody was reported injured in the crash. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers has announced $50 million of funding through the State Building Commission for projects across the state. Among the funded projects are several in western Wisconsin, including the Barron County Historical Society's Pioneer Village Museum, Western Wisconsin Health's Saving Rural Obstetrics Program, and for the renovation of the Leah and Mary Marquardt Center at the Boys and Girls Club of the Greater Chippewa Valley. A full list of the projects and the allocated funding is available online. And that's what you need to know. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
Bucks basketball tonight. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, it's the Bucks and the LA Lakers in a preseason matchup at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. The Bucks' new shooting guard, Gary Trent Jr., says he's okay after suffering a hyperextended elbow against Detroit. How's it going?
We've been pretty good, being proactive about getting back on the floor. We had a good practice today, and our goal is to continue to keep building through the preseason.
College football, the Badgers have their final practice before flying to New Jersey to take on Rutgers. Wisconsin is 3-2, Rutgers 4-1. NFL, the Packers getting ready to play the Cardinals. The only player to miss practice, defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt with an ankle injury. Back at practice, wide receiver Romeo Doubs. Matt LaFleur on having to suspend Doubs last weekend.
You never want to get to that point. And that's why I think, one thing that's so important for all of us involved is you got to communicate.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. There have been whispers over the years in Hollywood that Halle Berry and Billy Bob Thornton had actual sex during the filming of Monsters Ball. Berry appeared on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast to officially state that she and Thornton did not have sex during the filming, adding that Thornton was married to Angelina Jolie at the time. Billy Bob also denied rumors in 2012 on a different podcast. Berry became the first black woman to win a Best Actress Oscar for her performance in the 2001 film. Pretending to enjoy sex with Billy Bob probably really stood out. Misfit singer Chapel Roan called her high school theater teacher the B word on stage. Roan is apparently still salty that she got kicked out of the theater club in high school. Since then, her legion of social media followers came to her defense and share their own horrible relationships with high school theater teachers being mean and kicking kids out of theater programs across the globe. Look inward, Chapel and followers. Maybe you're just really bad actors. It's always fun when A-listers with good track records team up on a movie project. Deadline reports that Christopher Nolan's next film will be at Universal, the same studio behind Oppenheimer, a film that took home multiple Oscars and made almost $1 billion worldwide. Oppenheimer actor Matt Damon is rumored to play the lead. Like all Nolan projects, the plot of the film is a big secret, but the film is expected to start shooting in 2025 and will have an IMAX release July 17th, 2026. Jenna Fisher just disclosed that she was diagnosed with breast cancer last fall, but is now cancer-free. Fisher played Pam Beasley on The Office for the run of the show and decided to go public with her cancer struggle this month, given that she was diagnosed in October 2023. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. She is using her platform to encourage all women to get their routine mammograms, saying if she had waited another 6 months, it might have been too late. Good advice. Grief can affect people in different ways. When Lisa Marie Presley lost her only son Benjamin in 2020, she literally could not say goodbye. CNN Entertainment reports that Lisa Marie, Elvis's only child, kept her son's body at home for 2 months after his death. Presley's memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown, was published posthumously. Lisa Marie passed away in January of 2023. Her memoir was completed by her daughter, actress Riley Keough, who used tapes that her mother had made to complete the work. Keough says there are no laws in the state of California California that state a body needs to be buried immediately. So they kept Benjamin's body on ice in a room where the temperature had to be 55 degrees. She also says that Lisa Marie wanted to do this because Elvis's body was kept at their home after he died of a heart attack when he was 42, which allowed Lisa Marie to take her time and say a proper goodbye. Lisa Marie Presley and Benjamin Presley were both buried with Elvis at Graceland Cemetery. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We have just another day or so of these warm summer-like temperatures. Then fall is going to arrive. Today, sunshine, 77 this afternoon. The wind will be south at 5 to 15. 56 tonight, 74 tomorrow. We're talking 50s and 60s with a few sprinkles by the weekend. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 48.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.